Hello and welcome to Remove Film from Tray, a movie podcast. Years from now, when the fans go back and talk about the show, this is going to be the one they say, we really got it right. Hello, Slushie. Hello, Count.
Hello.
Hey.
We're here. We watched a lot of movies this week.
Boy, did we. Felt good.
Quite a few.
Some of them were good. Most of them were bad.
Yeah. More bad than good, but the goods were good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I enjoyed all of them.
No surprise there. Please continue more.
What was even the name of that Jean-Claude Van Damme one? I sort of forgot about it until I...
Blackwater, Darkwater.
Blackwater. Because they were like, you had a poll, and every movie was called Blackwater.
Blackwater 2018. Slushie, did you watch that with us? I know you were there.
I mean, there is a word you can use.
we both had it on.
Right.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time with Blackwater 2018 with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. It is a geezer teaser. The geezer that's teased is Dolph Lundgren. He's barely in it. He spends most of the time in a room. He doesn't interact with other characters except for maybe 2 minutes of screen time. It's bad.
Every time I looked over at the screen, some people were like shooting people in a green room.
Yeah,
like past a certain point, that was like the rest of the movie, but like somehow it was never exciting.
There was like a submarine made of cardboard. It was very shoddily put together.
Like it was badly produced, or like it was some kind of high-tech cardboard submarine.
No, it was badly produced. It looked like a very cheap set.
Okay.
There were like, I can't remember if they were like flashbacks during his interrogation, like
there were
style, or if it was just like before he's on the submarine, this is what happened. But that stuff seemed way more interesting, and it was very little of the movie. And then they were on the submarine a lot.
Right, the stuff off of the sub was very good. The stuff on the sub was very bad, and unfortunately, that's the bulk of the movie. I was actually kind of excited because the first 15 minutes was pretty decent with decent action, and Jean-Claude was kicking ass, and then he just is on the submarine, and it looks really bad.
So
I think they threatened to stab him in the eye like 5 times.
Yeah, they kept zooming in on the eye threat. Like, what was that about?
They wanted to interrogate him, and they were like, "We're gonna take your eye," and then they never do.
Strange movie. So,
yeah.
The first thing I bothered getting a poster for, or DVD cover, I guess, in this case, is Double Threat. Now, Count, what brings you to Double Threat? Why'd you choose Double Threat?
Thank you, Captain Raz. I chose Double Threat because I was looking for movies on Tubi. Double Threat's on Tubi, by the way. You can watch it on Tubi for free. Thank you,
That was
Tubi.
Blackwater, right?
Yes, so it was
Don't watch
Blackwater. Also on Tubi. I was just browsing Tubi and I was looking for newer movies, and then I was doing like a strong lady lead type night, and we voted between 3 movies that had strong women leads, and Double Threat won. And the trailer is really good, but the movie itself, not so great.
It had pretty good action when there was action. It had passable acting 50% of the time. It had some really rough portrayal of certain mental illness.
Yeah, Slushie hated this movie while we watched it.
One
of the few movies that Slushie openly hates during the movie, and I guess after the movie as well. I thought she was very charismatic in a way. I feel like the mental illness stuff was poorly handled and kind of overdone, and we've seen that a million times where someone has a split personality. Kind of lame. I did like her.
I didn't see any of the scenes where I came in late and I missed any of the like split personality scenes. She just sort of seemed...
Well, there's horny and aggressive mode, and then there's just like passive mode.
Mm-hmm.
Those were her personalities. Corny and then chill.
Okay.
Right, Slushie? That seemed to be it.
I mean, yeah, her name is Natalia. So she had Nat and she had Natalie. And Nat, I think, was the split personality.
They could have done Nat and Talia, right? Like
I think it was Nat and Tasha.
You might be right. Yeah, you're right.
Shout out to Tasha.
You're totally right. She was Natasha, and she was Nat and Tasha. Nat was like the horny one who learned all the things she does either from an ancient Chinese master, a pirate,
a pirate.
I don't know. She anytime main man asked her where'd you learn to do that, she came up with some other ridiculous bullshit.
Right, she'd do something. She would do something cool. He would ask her, and she would come up with some elaborate backstory, and then it turns out she was just lying about it.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
But it was a fun bit. That was one of the better things in the movie.
I like that bit as well, and I recall early on saying after the second time, I said, I hope they keep continuing this thread because it's very funny, and it was. It was a highlight of the movie.
And they did it 3 times?
3 or 4 times, I think.
Yeah. Which isn't a failing of the writing or anything. It's just at some point he stopped asking because she.
It's one of those movies, a lot of talking in cars, and just there are 2 people in a car and they're just talking.
So if I can reconstruct the synopsis from what the plot of the movie is that Matthew Lawrence, right, wants to get his friend's ashes to the sea.
His brother's ashes.
His brother's ashes, and is it so? The guy from Blossom died? Is that the Lawrence?
I think that's Lila Lawrence, yeah. That's Joey.
Joey Lawrence. Okay, he's trying to get Joey Lawrence's ashes to the sea, but he picks up this lady who is being pursued and then he's involved. Is that the issue?
So
she's working at a gas station and a guy with a sword and some other dudes attack the gas station to try and get her for whatever reason. And Matthew Lawrence just happens to be stopping at the gas station during his drive.
Okay.
And then when he leaves, she essentially tags along and holds a gun to his head.
Right, she was hiding in the backseat of his car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he gets wrapped up in her little adventure. So she was involved with the son of a mob boss, and she betrays them. Then the mob's after her, trying to get her.
Okay. And who's this other guy?
That is the son of the mob boss that was like her ex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's essentially 4 characters in the movie.
Yeah.
It's Matthew Lawrence, who is driving his brother's ashes, Nat/Natalie, so I guess 5. The mob boss son, whose name I forget. And then the cleaner, like mob style cleaner.
Yeah.
Who is working with the mob son.
So, do you recommend this movie? No? Yes?
I do not recommend Double Threat unless you really, I don't know. No, not really. If you want to see Matthew Lawrence, I guess, in his 40s and just, he looks good for his age. I can say that about the man.
Yeah. It's like
ripped.
It's not even really a movie that you can recommend just getting drunk with friends and watching and laughing at, because it's not like funny bad.
You know what
it's
I
not
recommend?
Necessarily bad. It's just like barely competent enough to be incredibly dull.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like a nothingness, but not as much as Blackwater.
I recommend just the trailer.
Okay.
Watch the trailer, it's pretty good.
Double Threat, watch the trailer. The next thing. What was this movie called? It just says Sinbad on here. Sinbad and the Seven Seas, I think.
Yes.
No, it was. Is that what it was?
I think that's what it was. I thought this was really good. Our friend MDB showed this.
Sinbad of the Seven Seas.
Sinbad of the Seven Seas.
Also on Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi. Killing it.
Thank you, Tubi.
Contact my promotional email, Tubi. I guess this has Sinbad. Like a bad rep. I don't know. It had like a pretty low IMDb score. Like I thought this was just like fantastic, start to finish.
I feel like if it was finished, it'd be a truly, like, really, really good sword and sandal movie. Unfortunately, it's unfinished. But it was
Yeah,
still very
I guess
entertaining.
different from Sword and Sorcery.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Sword and Sandal is specifically like, you know, like Grease and Clash of the Titans and whatever. And
Would this not be Sword and Sandals? Is it Sword and Sorcery?
no, I mean, you could say either. But
Okay.
the one, the
I
top
always call them
IMDb
Sword and
review
Sandal,
was
this
like
type of movie.
the top IMDb review was like, this is only for fans of Sword and Sandal genre. So, you know, someone out there.
Well, they're right. Because, I mean, I'm a Sword and Sandal guy. I like those movies.
I generally don't, but like I think Grease is quite boring as a setting. Just
Well, I mean,
you
just
know.
Grease, but
Yeah.
I like the other
Grease.
Sinbad movie with Caroline Munro in it.
I don't think I've seen that. Maybe as a child.
It's pretty good.
Was Lou 80 Yard in this? I don't remember.
I think just about everyone was. I don't remember if Lou
Okay.
was. But like, why was this incomplete? It was gonna be a TV show or something. I think I read, and then like it just wasn't.
I don't know. the
Seems
reason
like it would
why.
have made a good TV show.
Yes, they're like hunting a series of gems, and then the movie just sort of like rushes to an ending, I guess. But
It just seems like they didn't have enough budget, maybe, than they have. We didn't even talk about their framing device. It's a story being told to a child,
oh yeah.
and then
Much-
there's a constant narration.
much like Princess Bride.
Yeah, they're really trying to do a Princess Bride here.
Because this came out in like '89, right? Which is like later than I would have guessed from just the movie itself. I think is
Right.
Which makes
What
me
it
think
said.
they were sitting on the footage.
yeah, maybe. Which is weird because it's good footage. I don't know.
It is good.
The character who speaks the most in the movie is the mom reading the story to the kid. Hear a lot of that. It has one. I don't know who it is, but like one of the very, very prolific dub actors of the '80s plays this guy I've zoomed in on. And he's in like Polish Treasure Planet, and he's in Warriors of the Wind. He has a very distinctive voice. It might be Bryan Cranston. I don't know. Any anime fan will tell you Bryan Cranston did a lot of voice work.
Well, I'm looking at the list of English voices, and most of them are listed as unknown, and then the other guy is Michael Sorich. So he was in Masked Rider, VR Troopers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah, maybe that's because he is in Master Rider
Bleach.
too. I remember that.
Lupin, Outlaw Star, Robotech, Street Fighter.
Cute
Yeah.
honey.
That could be him.
Anime bullshit.
Anime bullshit. I don't
Oh,
really.
he's Dogi in the East anime.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess that'd solve it pretty easily if we listen to that. But yeah, I don't know. Great fantasy movie. A lot of funny situations. Sinbad ties snakes together to use as a rope.
The
Yeah,
movie
he
said
needs
it was based on the 1002nd Tale of Scheherazade by Edgar Allan Poe, but apparently it isn't like at all.
Is that just a big lie?
Yeah.
That's funny. Jeez. Sorry, Edgar.
It just makes it sound better, you know. Basically, Sinbad goes around collecting gems, and then he thinks he's alone, and he runs into a babe. That's pretty much the whole movie over and over again, right?
Right. And the villain is very good. Kind of like doing kind of a Skeletor voice a little bit. It's just, I love
Oh, and
these
it has
films.
Tegan Clive in it, who is always a pleasure to see in movies.
Is that the weird fruity wizard?
That is the giant woman
Oh, okay.
who was also an alienator in Inner
Well,
Zone.
she didn't really do anything in the film.
She just stood around.
Yeah. So, Sinbad, recommended. I think next was Street Fighter. Count caught up with Street Fighter.
Yeah, I had seen it before. I rewatched it for the first time
Watch
since
yourself.
then. What was that?
I said, watch yourself.
Watch myself. I like Street Fighter. I thought it was
Good.
an enjoyable movie. I don't hold it to the high ranking that Slushie does as like the peak of cinema, but you know, it doesn't deserve the bad rap that it gets. I can say that about it.
Yeah, it absolutely does not. I've said my piece on that last episode, but
Yeah.
it's good to hear that you enjoy it.
Revisit Street Fighter if you haven't seen it since the 90s. Don't listen to fucking angry nerds online or stupid video essays that shit all over old movies. Just fucking watch it. It's on Tubi. It's enjoyable. The only stuff I didn't really like is the Blanca stuff. Everything else is really good.
Yeah, Blanca like kind of looks bad.
Yeah,
He does.
And that whole thing is just kind of goofy and weird.
One thing I really like, a detail that I don't feel like I've seen anybody mention, but like Dulcim, who is a scientist in this and is working against his will to create Blanca.
Yeah.
At some point when the security guard that's in the office like realizes that Dulcim has switched the programming from scenes of fire and gunfights to dolphins and Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
He gets knocked into the mutant goo.
Yeah.
That they've got in IV bags going into Blanca, and then when you see him again later, he's bald.
Yeah.
Because he lost his hair.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's meant to be him doing a stretchy arm, but at some point he like reaches over to touch Guile, and he's like 5 feet away off camera.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that's meant to be him stretching his arm over to stop Guile from shooting Blanca.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I didn't pick up on that, but all right.
I do remember that from like previous watchings.
It can be read that way, so that's the way I'm reading it.
I will also say that Slushie had mentioned before that everyone always praises Raul Julia, and he was really good. But everyone's good. Like they're all kind of silly and have their own little moments, and you know, there's more than just the meme.
Yeah.
I
think everybody. The best thing about this movie, and I'll stop interrupting, is that everybody is clearly having the time of their life making it, and I think that's what's important with movies.
Yeah, Van Damme was having the time of his life dating Kylie there.
Yeah, cheating on his wife and messing around with Kylie.
I noticed two things. One, I'd never watched this with subtitles before, so I didn't realize T-Hawk was in it. Because you know, Guile's just like, T-Hawk, what are you doing? You know, and I didn't know that was T-Hawk.
T-Hawk, what's with the bandana?
Yeah, and then
he's
the
very
other
scrawny for T-Hawk.
Yeah. The other thing
it's
is,
hard
I
to
had
find
never
a 7
noticed.
foot tall, muscular Mexican.
I had never noticed like how much jokes for adults were in it, like jokes for the parents. You know, they're like, there's the part where they're just sort of panning past a hospital entrance, and it's like paging Dr. Howard, and there's like Bison's fucking his like John Wayne Gacy painting of himself as a clown. It's like, what the fuck? There's a lot of stuff in this movie. It's
you equated it to the Animaniacs.
Yes. I didn't want to do that on the podcast because Animaniacs sucks, but
oh well, all right.
The movie's good.
It
is Animaniacs.
But it's good. If you like Gremlins too, if you like the Super Mario Brothers live action movie, I think you would like Street Fighter. That's my thoughts about it.
It sounds like I really need to see Gremlins.
You do.
And
yeah, especially Gremlins too.
I think you'd love it.
Amazing.
Next thing, Count caught up with Ricky.
Go.
Story of Ricky for the first time.
Yeah, Riki-Oh. If you've never seen this, watch it. It lives up to the hype. It's very good. It's fucking one of these movies that I call all gas, no brakes, because there's no lulls in it. It just fucking goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. Yeah, it was my first time watching Riki-Oh. I had heard of it. I had seen clips and gifs and memes of it throughout the years, but I never watched it. I always thought that those little bits that we saw posted online were like maybe just like a 2 seconds of the movie, and then the rest was boring bullshit, like some of these movies tend to be. But no, this is crazy the whole time. And it's really good.
It's on my top 10 list for a reason.
I probably hadn't seen this since the early aughts, but yeah, it's very good. I sort of forgot how gory it is. Somehow, I don't know. Basically nonstop.
It looks so good too. All the effects, they look amazing.
Yeah, with one exception. But
what is that? Which one?
The
warden at the
of
end.
The man at the end.
Oh, right.
Looks
well,
little...
I think that's meant to be goofy.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just like the first shot of him when it's like the low angle, like looking up at him shot is really good. I really wish they didn't do all the snot coming out of his nose.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But then
like people
as
get
the
their
fight
faces
goes
ripped
on,
off, and it looks really good.
yeah,
People get skinned alive, and I don't know. It's great.
he fucking uppercuts that dude through the jaw.
Yeah.
Like takes his lower jaw off. That part's so good.
That was Tarzan. I forgot about the whole, like, he becomes friends with Tarzan through battle.
Right.
Sort of. I don't really have anything to say about it, but it's good. It holds up.
It's not on Tubi, but you can find it on the Internet Archive, so watch Riki-Oh.
Is there like a VHS preservation, or just the fucking movie?
The one that I showed, I got off the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
I think it's a rip of the DVD that's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the DVD or Blu-ray. Looked good. I mean, the copy that they have, it's watchable.
Yeah.
Watch it if you haven't. If you're into that sort of thing. And if you're into that sort of thing, maybe you also like Versus, which Count watched last night for the first time.
Yeah, it was my first time with Versus. See, I thought Riki-Oh was on Mortis's list, and then it was really on Slushie's, and I was like, well, I gotta watch a Mortis movie. And this is the only one on his list I hadn't seen. So I watched Versus for the first time last night. Probably number 7 of my favorite zombie movies. Very good.
Oh, you moved it down. I thought you were saying 6. Did you think about it?
I forgot about Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
That
That's
movie
fair. Yeah.
exists. It's very good. So
I kind of forgot how good this movie was.
this was great. This is another movie that it's all gas, no brakes. It fucking just goes and goes and goes and goes. And really enjoyed it. I love the suit guy. He was my favorite character. I don't really know any other names.
I always
They don't have names.
I think about that guy. I call him like the snake guy, sort of, because he's always like, you know.
Yeah.
And he has knives. Yeah, he's really good.
He's probably my favorite character. I like the idea of reincarnation. I use that a lot in my writing. So any movie that does that and has zombies and sword fights and just craziness is going to win me over pretty easily.
I will say, Count, maybe if you get the urge to rewatch this at any point, make sure you watch Ultimate Versus, but anybody else, make sure you watch Ultimate Versus.
Yeah,
Got like a
apparently I
half
watched
an
the
hour
bad
of
cut.
extra footage.
I think that the movie is like fine, you know, on Versus, and I've seen Versus, you know, dozens of times, and I've seen Ultimate Versus like 10 times.
So you're saying Ultimate adds 30 minutes?
Yeah, like it's a long
but it's
movie to begin with, right?
Yeah, it's already
Right.
feeling. It did feel kind of long.
Yeah. And then
At the
Ultimate,
very
it's
least,
just like, god damn, like you kind of get a little tired, but
Like I
at
love
the
Dawn
very
of the Dead,
least,
but it's
you
long.
should watch the final battle, the ultimate version of the final battle.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to check that out.
Because Mortis and I, after Versus was done, watched the final battle in
Oh, boy.
Ultimate Versus, and
like you can tell the footage is new because like it's slightly better looking. It's obviously on a slightly better camera, and like they might be, you know, Tak Sakaguchi might have been like wearing a wig to match his hair. From like his hair looks a little weird, but
Right, standard reshoot
Yeah,
stuff.
but
They just do some very, very fucking cool things.
like
And
all the new
like-
stuff is just like, here's a cool idea we had for something that happens in a fight, and then we're just gonna insert it. You know, like
Yeah.
But if you don't like anime bullshit, you probably won't like this. But if you love it or are open-minded about Japanese cinema, really give Versus a shot. It does some cool stuff with zombies. It does some cool stuff with like vampire type things and a lot of great sword fights and weaponries and just I don't know, really good low budget. I kept equating it to the Evil Dead as like it's Japan's Evil Dead, where it seemed I don't know if they were all young behind the scenes, but it seemed like a group of young filmmakers, not a lot of money, making a horror movie, inspired by I assume The Matrix at the time.
yeah,
So that's Japanese Evil Dead to me.
yeah.
It's no Full Metal Alchemist.
Right. If you're a huge dork and a shithead, maybe don't watch Versus. But like, if you're cool, you'll probably
If you're
like
cool,
it.
you'll probably like it.
I want to ask you something, Count.
Yeah.
You know the guy who through most of the movie had like the red mask of blood on his face and was like constantly freaking out. Did you pick up on the bit with him?
Which bit
the
what do you
little
mean?
chibi? She's talking about the little.
Yeah, I mean, I
dork.
remember him. Yeah.
Did you pick up on the bit though?
I
That
don't-
was like
what?
going
What's the
throughout the
bit?
movie.
That they kept not killing him.
He kept getting bigger and bigger guns.
Oh no, I did
Like,
not
just
pick up on that. Yeah, I
out
know
of
he had the 50 cal at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he kept getting his gun taken away, and like he'd just pull out a new gun, and it was like a bigger handgun
Right.
throughout the film, and then he gets
No,
the
I guess I didn't.
he
pick
gets
up
the
on that.
anti-tank rifle at the end.
That is pretty good though.
Yeah, it's maybe one of the best types of bits where you don't really notice it unless you really notice.
I'll also say there is some shaky cam in the beginning of the movie, but it goes away, and it was making me feel kind of like nauseous because I'm a little baby.
Yeah, I
about
guess
that sometimes.
that's a good thing to mention. I'd never really noticed that, but like, yeah, I don't. The first dialogue scene is just shot like in this really like
Right.
constantly moving the camera around style.
But it stops.
It was
So,
a very
like, just get
intense
through it.
conversation.
It does stop.
It stops. If the whole
Alternatively,
movie
you
was
can
like that, I
probably-
don't know if I could have honestly finished it, but it does stop.
If it's a big enough issue, you could probably just skip it. Skip that
Well,
scene.
then you wouldn't get to see the main character go, "Here's the thing, I'm a feminist." So,
Right.
was
It's great.
That's
You have to. It's a great line.
was there not a dub of this on your thing, Count?
I couldn't find one.
Because I believe so. It's interesting to me that they made a Blu-ray of Versus that wasn't Ultimate Versus. I thought, I figured it was just like a George Lucas replace the old one situation, but I guess not. But I think there is a dub of normal Versus, but they never did one for Ultimate. I think so. I'm a little surprised that wasn't available. I don't know.
If you
Just a
Google-
comment.
If you Google Versus 2000 dub, the first result is Internet Archive, and there's the dub. So
Okay. Well, I guess I didn't look hard enough. I don't know. I try and
if you
check
ever want to watch it.
certain sites and whatever's seating.
Yeah.
I just grab that,
Yeah.
Or Tubi. If
Or
things are
Tubi.
on Tubi.
Tubi
If it's
very
not on
rarely
Tubi.
will have, the audio track option. But sometimes.
Yeah.
So, we've put it off long enough. This week we watched the worst two Puppet Master movies so far.
Are we sure we didn't watch any other movies? Are we sure?
I think that's a.
Okay.
This is going to be a pretty short episode, isn't it?
Well, I took a lot of notes on Curse, but
I took a lot of notes on Curse.
retro
Barely
pretty much
anything
just-
on retro.
Yeah. It's which is weird because did we all think that retro was like a little more interesting from a movie standpoint, but also
I did.
way worse? You didn't?
It was worse for sure. Kind of more interesting, but goes nowhere with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting on the level of, I don't know, we'll get to the retro later. Curse, What? Wow! What a comeback! So there had been like a 4-year break, right, since Puppet Master 5, and
Yeah.
they come back with Curse, which is a story of a seems like he's supposed to be handicapped boy, teenager.
Mentally handicapped. He's
seems
not,
like
he's not in a
yeah,
wheelchair.
seems like he's supposed to be mentally handicapped. You know, the style of the time. You've got your fucking lawnmower man. You got your sling blade. You know, those maybe.
I said he's dressed like Simple Jack. They treat him like Simple Jack, but he doesn't really act like it.
Yeah,
Kind of weird.
Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Right.
He's just he's just like a little quiet. Like he doesn't really, the actor doesn't like really try to play it up.
Yeah.
What's his name's Robert, but everyone calls him Tank.
Everyone calls him Tank.
Right. Which
Look, he's got the haircut. He's got the overalls.
Everyone calling him Tank is a beautiful piece of foreshadowing.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yes. And this movie was directed by David DeCoto, apparently, who directed Puppet Master 3, a perfectly fine film.
He hid behind a woman's name, though. For this movie.
Yeah, it says directed by like Victoria something for some reason.
Because he was like, well, it's a bad movie. Let's just blame it on a woman.
But then he also directed Retro, which he did put his name on. Very strange.
Victoria Sloan.
Sloan. Okay. Question from the chat: who do you think the new human? I almost said woman. Will be in the game. Any ideas for the upcoming human in the game?
I hope it's Tank.
I couldn't see it being Tank, right? Because
I mean,
like
he would have a
Tank.
special. He would have a special ability of like blind rage, I guess.
Maybe the guy from this movie, the Matthew Lesko. No, not that one. Maybe Matthew Lesko from this movie. So, what's this guy's name? McGrew?
Yeah,
I think it's McGrew.
Something McGrew.
So this guy McGrew, this old scientist who looks like Matthew Lesko, and he has a pipe with a face on it that we were hoping would be a puppet.
Smokehead.
Yeah, Smokehead.
I think he only has this
hold
pipe
on,
in,
hold
like,
on.
this first
Slushie,
scene,
I don't
too.
want to cut you off, Slushie, but I have to. We're not acknowledging the fucking. We're not acknowledging the intro. It was like 15 minutes long clip show.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So the intro of Puppet Master 6, the opening credits is probably every single shot from movies 1 through 5 that has a puppet in it and no human.
Yeah.
Like just one bang 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 like every puppet shot we've seen. So that is important to set up.
It's very important to set up because later in the movie they just use them again.
Yes. there is almost no new puppet footage in this movie. Anytime anything happens, anytime someone looks off camera at a puppet, it's just old footage. And it never matches. Like
the backgrounds are different.
Yeah. The film quality is different. The puppets' costumes are different.
The aspect
ratio is often different.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's like no new like puppet-ish footage, but there's no puppeteering in this movie at all.
Right.
That is
no.
New. Anytime there's a shot of puppets walking that's new, there is someone's hand holding them by the legs off the bottom edge of the camera, just jiggling them up and down a little bit.
And there is one scene where they're dollying the camera and Blade is just on the dolly with the camera. Like they don't even. But Jester is like the prime example of the bad. I was saying Jester looked like a 1992 G.I. Joe, and Count said Jester G2. Toys fans will know this. I didn't notice until looking at this screen cap I took that the lines are just markered on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even actually carved in.
He doesn't have the segmented head at all. It's just a single head that they drew on.
So every time
Did they lose
somebody,
the other puppet?
I don't know. Every time somebody looks off camera at Jester, it's like Jester from Puppet Master 2, and it's like a totally different outfit. Like that's where it is the most
Yeah.
evident. But
I'm looking at the Puppet Master wiki for this movie, and they've got
Yeah.
a picture of all the puppets. And the picture of Pinhead they decide to use is when the guy sticks the gum on his head.
that is good. So the movie opens, and I keep going back to this because we'll get to that. Okay. The movie opens, and Dr. McGrew is driving in the woods to bury and burn a crate. And I wrote on my notes here, Evil Dead digging shots. There's a lot of this is kind of like the first and last time the movie tries anything. Like he's burying this crate in a woods in a thunderstorm, and there's a lot of low angle shots, and there's a gnarly branch in the shot, and then he turns, and then it's it's reminiscent of, I thought, whenever Ash is burying something in an Evil Dead movie.
A completely dry thunderstorm.
It's trying to do some atmosphere. Also, the box is screaming and laughing
Right.
the whole time.
Yeah, the box is making noise, so we know there's a puppet in it. And he pours the gas on it, and it's I wrote Dungeon Keeper stock screams. I don't know that it was necessarily from Dungeon Keeper, but it's that kind of scream that you've heard in everything in the 90s.
Yeah. The other thing was he dug a hole that was perfectly sized for the box, 3 inches deep.
Yeah, he doesn't actually bury it. He just sort of burns it. I don't know.
Yeah, he just burns it and walks away.
So my top note, I guess we should address this in all caps. When does movie take place? It seems like
it's the 50s. It's not.
It seems like it's supposed to be the 50s, but there's just a 91 Thunderbird or Mustang.
It's a Mustang. Yeah, it's just a generic ass black 90s Mustang.
And just most of the cars are old trucks and shit, and people kind of act in an old fashioned way, but then there's just
and
a
the
Mustang.
Gas station they go to is an old timey gas station with old timey pumps, and
there in terms of the Puppet Master canon, there's certainly no clues because this doesn't tie to anything at all. They never they never cover how this McGrew guy got the
I don't think they mentioned Toulon or anything, right?
He said because he has his Mr. McGrew's Wonder Emporium.
Yeah.
And he says at some point, I think he's explaining to Tank about the puppets. And he's just I got this crate I got this trunk at an auction. That's it.
So the Matthew Lesko guy runs this Mr. McGrew's Wonder Emporium, and I've got this screenshot on here. While they're introducing, Tank works at a gas station making $30 an hour, and McGrew offers him $35 an hour. And
no, it's $35 a week.
35, right? Week, yes. Sorry.
That's why
I guess that's the other thing that would put it in the 50s.
Yeah.
35 an hour would be amazing.
Yes, 35 a week. Yes. And also, they don't mention it, but also room and board because they just put him up there too. But
right.
And they don't really. They say it's in Willisburg or something, or it's just some town name. They don't really place it. And we meet some bullies at the gas station.
Right. the bully with the voice, with the lisp. Hello.
Right.
I'm going to kick your ass.
Charlotte from the sounds like Charlotte from the Trials of Mana remake.
But
I don't understand that reference, but
yeah, gamers know.
She's like Trials of Mana.
Yeah, that is it. That's it.
So
He's
got
very
this,
intimidating.
He's got this show place here, and we're walking in. There's a cool snake in the foreground, and then they get, all the way to the left of the frame, and McGrew points off frame and says, "And that's Movo the Beast Man. Oh, it's an old gorilla skin I stretched over a wooden frame." And we don't see it. It's off. It's like out of frame, and it never.
Coolest thing you can imagine. Just right over there.
It never gets shown on camera, but
I figured they were trying to set it up for later or something. It just never shows up.
Just to jump ahead in a nonsensical way, do you remember when the
Oh yeah,
when he moves?
He moves. Yeah, one of these other puppets.
Is he a puppet? What's going on there?
It's just sort of a scene that happens.
The camera is moving past him, and his eyes move to follow the camera or something like that.
Yeah, he just kind of looks left and right. This old ventriloquist dummy type guy.
It's just one quick shot. It's never mentioned, or it's never talked about. He never appears again in the movie.
Well, it feels like during the end of the movie, I thought there was gonna be new puppet coming in.
Yeah,
right.
No. But that room is cool. They could have done more with it. Yeah, they don't.
They walk through it a couple times.
Everything in the background of this movie is cool. The movie itself, not cool.
So the doctor has a daughter named Jane, and we walk in and we meet the puppets, and she's good friends with all the puppets, even though they're all kept in cages in this back room.
Yeah.
And we find
Pinhead's her favorite.
Yes, we find out in my notes. It says Pinhead and the girl are in a relationship. She's always carrying Pinhead around. Pinhead seems to be clearly her favorite. She loves the little Popeye guy.
Can you blame her?
No, we have come to love him as well.
He's been growing on me.
Yeah. And the next thing I have is, so they go to it's like an outside puppet show where mainly 6-shooter is just shooting cans, and there's a bunch of extras there watching the puppets amazed, and the sheriff and deputy show up. These guys are, it's very weird because the sheriff and deputy are so evil. They're so sinister, and they're investigating the disappearance of what you can probably guess is the whatever McGrew was burying in the beginning of the movie. But they're like, yeah, right. What are you doing here, McGrew? Might have to look around a little bit. Yeah, it's it's just really odd how evil they are, even though it's pretty evident that McGrew is the evil one. Just right, strange.
Clearly sinister. The cops are acting more sinister.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in this movie where everyone acts weird to the cops. I mean, you can understand why, but then neither of them will be in the wrong or right, and it's what is going on here? Or they're really rude to Tank.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's rude to Tank because he's Tank.
That's true.
So,
except
is it the cop who puts the gum on Pinhead's head?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I should have got a screen cap of it, but one of Pinhead's big moments is he gets chewing gum just put on his head like a little hat.
It's very low resolution, but I'll put this picture of it in Discord.
And Jane is very mad about it because she loves Pinhead.
She's during this scene, she's holding him like a teddy bear.
Yeah, she's constantly walking around with him.
He's got adult hands,
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
He's got regular person-sized hands. That's all.
So the whole reason that they took Tank to work at the thing is because he's a good carver. He's like carving a little unicorn while they're at the gas station, and McGrew wants him to carve a puppet. And he stays up late working Tank, and he has these recurring dreams where he is turning into a puppet. Like first his legs and then his chest. It's kind of a good. Looks okay. It's a little creepy. One of a couple things in the movie that's sort of okay, but
yeah, I mean, they don't show it long enough for you to really scrutinize it, and I think that lends to it as well. But it made me really wish that every single dream sequence was actually happening. Because like this one that you're seeing the screenshot of with his chest open, it happens after he had like just made out with Jane. And then it cuts to a new scene where Jane's like putting her clothes on and leaving. And like Tank's still in bed all covered up. And then he pulls the covers down to like kiss her goodbye or whatever. And he sees that his chest is all fucked up and she's there screaming and he's there screaming. And then he wakes up. So it's like, did they have sex? Is he turning into a puppet?
It was
Things
all
for
a
a better
dream.
movie.
So there's a blossoming relationship between Jane and Tank, and she loves Tank. He didn't go to college, and he says he's dumb. And she's like, "There's stuff you can't learn at college. You can, and you have such strong, beautiful hands, and you can do such beautiful art.
You have wisdom in your hands."
And she's like, "Idiots go to college, and you're no idiot."
And I wrote in my notes,
"Got wisdom in your hands, Tank."
I wish Pinhead was jealous of Tank and Jane's blossoming love. Like that would have been a better movie if Pinhead
so good.
It had been like
just another element for Puppet Master 17.
Yeah, because Pinhead was that in 5, where the lady was like, "And don't look at me in the shower, Pinhead." Yeah. Like Pinhead is the dude.
He's a dog.
He gets the women.
Pinhead loves women, and they love him.
He got that dog in him.
So Jane, Tank doesn't want to work, or Tank doesn't want to stop working, and they're moving around, making moves, falling in love, and she's like, "Hey, let's go to the forest. I got to go to the forest to pick something up." "Oh, I lied to you. I just wanted to be with you." And they find the burned puppet, and then they also find the bullies. They don't fully investigate the burned puppet for some reason. I guess
they just think that's strange.
Yeah, they then find the bullies. And they start to do a sexual menace on Jane, but Tank gets mad and almost kills the head bully by choking him with his power.
I mean, it's that very, very bad trope that appears with mentally handicapped characters in movies around this era and earlier.
But in my notes, I don't remember the context of this exactly, but like one of the like sub bullies says like, who do you think you are, the Incredible Hulk, like destroying the world and stuff?
Yeah.
He says it to the main bully.
Yeah.
Such a random, like, they don't do a lot of popular culture references, and then they do that.
Right.
When did the Hulk premiere?
It would have been out if the movie takes place in the 50s. There would have been Hulk comics.
62.
Oh, well.
Oh no, that's the first Incredible Hulk comic book, not when the character premiered.
Oh,
who knows?
Well, I'm probably
no, yeah. 62 then.
Huh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe it takes place in the 60s.
Maybe some nebulous time.
It's like Streets of Fire.
Right.
Yeah,
Just like Streets of Fire.
It's
a
a
movie
it's a
out of
fable in another time, another place.
They fucking wish.
So after the choking scene, my next note is they go back to the. It seems to be like some kind of warehouse or something that like probably somebody Charles Band knows owns, because it's just like this brick building with a bunch of paintings in it. And
It looks really cool.
yeah, it's fine. It's a
inside.
fine set. But there's a particular painting that looks just like Pulsagen from Ultra 7. Like it's three silhouette weird skinny figures on a fire, and then that I'll put up a visual reference for the actual Pulsagen.
It's very
it's gotta
similar.
be, right?
It's I don't know, yeah, like it's possible that some weird guy who knew Charles Band did a bunch of weird paintings and saw
I wonder
Ultra
if there's
7.
any overlap between like this and there was American Ultraman shows like around the same time.
Well, maybe he watched the same Ultra 7 dub that you did, Mortis.
Yeah, maybe.
That would have been
I
in
guess
the
it's
right time,
possible
right?
because this came out in '98 and that came on in more of the earlier '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bully's mad, right? The tank choked him out almost. So,
Yes, he's very pissed.
So he sneaks to the McGrew's Wonder Emporium and sneaks.
I want to mention this because I mentioned it when we were watching the movie, but it seems like everybody has a door that just goes to the outside. And I'm wondering if the McGrew's Marvels building is a motel and they were like trying to evoke the hotel from the first two movies with the name I've now for Bodega Bay.
Bodega Bay.
Yeah.
It's very strange, and like
it
they
seems
don't
to be
call
like
attention to it in the movie.
It seems to be like a courtyard. Like it's just like a square shaped building with a courtyard in the middle or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird building.
But the bully sneaks in. Pinhead, of course, Pinhead shows up to save his girlfriend, and the bully kills Pinhead by throwing him on the ground and stomping on it.
And
over and
his
over
arms.
and over, which causes his hand to fall
It
off.
knocks his hands off. And Jane is like, "We have to bury him. We can't leave him like this. We have to bury him." And Tank's like, "No, we don't know." And Jane gets mad at Tank for
they're
that.
like 5 feet outside the house, and it's
yeah.
Just pick him up and bring him inside.
It's storming, but there's no rain.
Yeah,
there's no rain in any of this
storming,
movie.
never rain.
Yeah.
But Tank fixes Pinhead, makes him better, makes him stronger.
Do you have the image?
The hand on his hip? No. You feel free to post that.
Yeah, let me get that for you.
And there's
for that Pinhead sassy.
There's a scene with Jane where Pinhead is hanging out with Jane, and they're obviously using like the articulated one that looks good, but then like they talk about Pinhead and it cuts back to just a shot of Pinhead, and it's like the junk stunt Pinhead for some reason. Like they had the articulated one like right there. Like why would you put the shot of the junk stunt Pinhead that is like bent and looks like shit?
You know, filmmaking, that puppeteer had certain hours they could work in and then had to go home, and then they just had someone else hold the stunt one.
Yeah, it doesn't need to. I don't know.
I have no idea. They do a lot of digital zooms and bad things like that in this one, right? Or is that retro?
That's retro has more of the digital zooms.
There's sassy Pinhead.
Yeah. God, his head's not even like painted, I don't think.
Yeah. I think the hand is supposed to be Tank's, like holding him there. And there's no puppeteering, so like his arm just got squished by the bed, but it really looks like he's got his hand on his head and he's looking, or hand on his hip and he's looking sassy.
So McGrew, to get revenge on the bully, takes Blade and Tunneler to go kill the bully, who is pumping iron. He is doing bench presses faster than I've ever seen anyone do bench press.
Really bad form. Really, really too fast.
Yeah.
He's got like 2 5-pound weights on the bar.
And the whole time he's doing it, he's like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, take it. Take it. You like that?
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
So he's, we can tell he's a terrible man.
Yeah.
And he's going to throw his back out anyway. But
Horrible asshole.
Blade and Tunneler sort of combo kill him on the bench press there.
Tunneler drills into his dick.
Tunneler drills into his dick, just straight in there. And Blade just sort of cuts his face.
Yeah, slaps his face with a knife, and then you hear the double layer scream.
Yes, the
Also,
bully.
Very late into the movie for the first kill, but please continue.
It is the first kill. So the bully actor is like but then it's also doing the stock scream from like
It's so
earlier
bad.
in the film. Like it's just double layered for some reason. They love that stock scream, and it is the first kill.
I mean, it is a good scream, but it's also like, I feel like even at that point, it would have been like on the Wilhelm level of very obvious that it's
Sure.
that stock scream.
And you only do one or the other.
Yeah, you don't
You don't
need
do
to
both.
Right.
But I said that if you want to see shots of the puppets getting sprayed with blood, like this movie does have that, but that's kind of all it has.
That's it.
In terms of, puppet kills. I have this quote.
Tunneler gets fucking drenched.
Tunneler gets drenched twice.
Yeah.
I have this quote from Jane. Any fool in this world can be a destroyer. Only a very few can be creators. Don't trade one for the other. I guess they're talking about how he wanted to kill the bully.
Strong insight from Jane.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing here. We're being creators here on this podcast.
We're trying, folks. It's hard when you have a movie like Curse of the Puppet Master.
We're doing our best. Are we
I was
destroying
like-
it? Are we being destroyers? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think we're being destroyers, but we're taking something and we're creating something out of its ashes.
Yeah.
It destroyed itself.
Right.
So the police and the coroner end up at the bully's house. Like, there's about 3 days gone, been dead 3 days. And the coroner's saying shit like, his face peeled back to the skull, such and such damage, his hand almost sliced all the way off. And they're just shooting a corpse that does not have this damage that's being described.
Right. Clearly,
It's just like splash some blood on the actor.
it's like all this cool stuff happened to this corpse. We didn't see the puppets do it, and also you can't see it here.
Yeah.
He's clearly intact and fine. I mean, he's supposedly dead, but like he's not missing a face or a hand or anything. His intestines aren't all sprawled out.
Yeah.
Sometimes when engaging media in good faith, you just have to have a little bit of suspension of belief.
No. Sometimes you do, not all the time. This is one of the times you don't.
Yeah. This is another situation. The cops are there, and the bully's friends are there, and the cops are like, "Whoa, what do you know about this? Where were you when this happened?" And the friend's like, "I don't know. I'm not going to tell you.
Remember.
I can't remember." And the
Cop
cop like,
comes in and says, "Hey, your supposedly, I'll say best friend, and we don't know, but
Yeah.
hey, your best friend was brutally murdered. Do you know anything to try and help us stop and find the killer?" "I ain't telling you nothing, copper." What?
like
Very
everybody just acts like a shithead except the villain of the film.
Right.
And the cop slams him into a refrigerator magnet. And he's like, "Oh, my nose! You broke my nose."
He slams his forehead.
Okay. We saw him. We saw him on Sunday. He went in the forest.
He was so mad about not getting to rape that girl.
And then the cop breaks the rest of his nose.
Yeah.
I think he was like reseeding it, but like doing it to be mean. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, here's a little extra pain on the way out. Crack.
At this point, like, McGrew is ramping up his scheme, which we find out is to put Tank into a puppet, as he had done with the previous assistant who disappeared, Matt. And he says, like, Tank is getting sick. He's pale. He's in bed. Not really sure why. I guess there's
I don't know either.
Necessarily anything
was doing to him, or if he just happened to also be sick. I don't know.
But Jane is like, I want to stay here with Tank, and McGrew says, no, don't do that. Go to town to pick up something for me.
A stuffed mermaid.
A stuffed mermaid. And she's like, okay. And then this is the point where there's like, there will be like little throwaway scenes of two characters talking who aren't Tank. And the scenes look very bad. Like they're done on a worse camera at like a worse film grain or something. And it starts getting worse very rapidly as this kind of scene happens.
I think what may have happened is that they like set up a camera on a tripod and filmed the whole scene and then decided to do like digital zooms for specific shots. Because the grain is huge.
Yeah.
In these shots.
It's very grainy.
I feel like that's what because they've already been doing a bunch of weird digital zooms and digital pans throughout the whole movie. So I wonder if that's what they did.
So Jane ends up at this place with a weird guy with a mow haircut.
I like this guy.
I'm not sure what this place was, but like they have two phone lines on two phones that are within 4 feet of each other because they're both on the phone talking to different people at the same time.
This is gonna be something nobody gets. But if you've ever seen the music video to Electric Callboys, We Got the Moves, he looks exactly like every one of them.
Okay.
No idea. No idea what you're talking about.
And so Jane pieces it together that this mermaid is fake, and she gets on the phone with someone, and
it's not a real mermaid.
We can hear the other end of the conversation. It's like,
hey, what are you doing over there? No, we don't have no mermaid.
Like over the weird.
It's very ridiculous.
The like phone effect. It's insane that we can hear it, and it's also insane that it sounds so goofy.
It's something that would fit perfectly in like a silly parody style comedy movie.
Yeah.
But then in this, it was so fucking weird.
So
would have fit in perfectly into Street Fighter. Like, if you're doing like jokes a second.
Yeah. It would have. So she puts it together somehow to go back to that puppet they found burned in the woods, and they see that she can tell it's Matt. And he's still out there alive, kind of squirming around. And that's the other kind of decent thing in the movie.
Right, that was cool and that was creepy.
Yeah, it looked creepy. Yeah. It looked fine.
He feels like he's in pain, like he's like...
Yeah, it's scary.
It made me really hope they were going to do a Doll Man style thing with Tank. Where instead of creating a puppet...
they just like shrink him?
Yeah. I was hoping so bad that that's what was going to happen.
Well, you have to.
What happened was maybe arguably better.
Right.
But
you have to understand. Dollman doesn't shrink. He's just very small on his home planet, and when he comes here, the scale is different.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So McGrew has Tank tied up on a sort of rack, and he transfers Tank's soul to the puppet he has made for Tank by lightning shooting from Tank's dick to the puppet.
Right.
just this very cheesy like lightning effect, and it transfers Tank's soul into the puppet that is a tank with a TV screen for a face. It looks like some shit from like a Liquid Television segment, and it's kind of cool, but it's also really stupid.
I've a couple things to say about this.
Yeah.
First off, I thought he would try and put him into like another human type of puppet, like he did with Matt.
Right.
Doesn't do that. Second
Right.
off, I thought Tank the whole movie was carving his own puppet, like ironically.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
was
not made of wood; it's like a fucking metal thing.
he was carving a wooden puppet the whole movie, and now he
Right, I
goes.
thought it'd be like, haha, you carved your own body for eternity. That'd be
Right.
so much better.
And they kept saying, McGrew kept saying like, you put your soul into the carving, And
Right.
it's like that. It would make sense rather than this insane
We get this.
thing from like a stop motion short from the mid-90s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it just ends.
And then it just ends. All the
He
puppets
screams and it ends.
all the puppets naturally decide,
Kill the puppet master, because
Kill-
that's
we-
what they do in every single movie.
yeah, it makes sense because it's like Tank has been their friend and whatever, but like, why didn't they stop him before the lightning shot out of the dick? I don't
They
know.
had to know what's going on.
Yeah, the puppets kill McGrew. They kill the cops.
I guess the puppets, they don't punish you for thought crime. You actually have to commit the crime.
Right. Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And then McGrew, after having been mostly killed by the puppets, Tank shoots him in the face with a lightning beam, and it kind of like lights up McGrew's eyes, and then the movie's over.
Yeah, and they just quickly it's just done.
It's just done.
It just ends. It's so weird how it just fucking ends.
Very abrupt.
there.
Yeah. Will we?
The other thing was, I thought they were going to do something with Jane, because during the final scene when McGrew is getting killed, Jane runs in
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, you would
witnesses her father die. And I thought it was going to be her, like, I thought she was going to try and reconcile Tank, maybe try and bring him back to life as a human, do anything. But it just ends. It's so.
I would take the final scene of her
really
in bed with
frustrated
snuggling
by
with Tank and Pinhead.
Yeah, that would be good.
Something.
That would be good. It just ends.
Full moon, hit us up.
Yeah. Will we see, like, even I think there is nothing from this movie in the comic. I think that the Tank puppet appears in a background shot, but like, the comic, very loving of the whole series, has a lot of small references to stuff here.
Yeah,
and
little
there.
nods, but not to curse.
I don't know that McGrew's Wonder Emporium is ever mentioned. Yeah, are we ever gonna see Tank again? Will any of this shit come back?
I
Probably
hope not, because it was really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty bad film, and I have this on the bottom of the ranking. So
Slushie, who's your MVP of Curse of the Puppet Master?
It's got to be Tunneler. He's the only one that actually, like, Blade cuts people up a little bit, but Tunneler is the only one that actually does anything that would cause death, I feel, in the whole movie.
there is a good
And I
shot
don't
of
think-
Tunneler just completely covered with blood after killing the sheriff.
Yeah. And, like, besides Pinhead briefly fighting the bully and then getting killed, I don't think the other puppets do anything. Like, Leech Woman is in this movie. She does nothing.
Yeah.
She's in like
Absolutely
3
nothing.
shots.
I forgot she was in it, yeah. Torch isn't in it.
Torch-
She's in the
yeah,
intro
Torch is
credits.
He's in the
Right.
very long intro.
Six Shooter, like, shoots cans, but he doesn't do anything to any
He
humans.
shoots cans and he does the lariat scene from 4. They replay that footage, but to, like, I think he's lariating McGrew or something to help the puppets.
Oh, right. Like when he lassos something or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
The note that I have written down is that McGrew says that Blade is perfect, so that's one of the good things about the movie.
Oh yeah. He says Blade is he has no secrets. He is perfectly what he is.
Yeah.
It's
And like, I guess we didn't really touch on it, but he says that while he's trying to convince Tank that like every human has a soft human side and then a beast in them, and that Tank needs to shed his human side and become the beast or something.
It's something
And then
like
when
that.
he puts Tank
Did he
into
say
the
that?
puppet, something like that. And when he
Okay.
puts Tank into the puppet, he's like, "You don't have the human anymore. You are just the killer."
That's weird.
And then he
I
kills.
don't remember that.
See, I remember them talking about that when they're discussing Blade. I don't remember doing the tank scene at the end, but I'll take your word for it because I was probably zoning out.
I mean, I remember it being there, but it's totally possible that I'm just inserting cooler things to the
Mortis,
movie
do you have
because
an
there's
MVP written down?
Well, my vote is Pinhead. He doesn't do anything, but he is the most appealing puppet character in the film. So,
That's yeah, absolutely. I just have 3 question marks next to MVP.
yeah.
that's fair.
I guess we might have to leave that one undecided.
I could say Pinhead because Pinhead was good, but like, I don't know.
Tumblr did do kills. Blade
Yeah,
cut people's face a little.
Blade was really lame in this one. As a hardcore Blade fan, don't watch it. Don't watch Curse of the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Again, it's one that is like just like Double Threat. It's not even worthy of like getting drunk with your friends and laughing at.
Right? It's not even so
Because-
bad. It's good. It's just not worth watching.
If you're doing a
Yeah.
podcast, you got to do it. But yeah,
Right.
it's kind of
Right.
If you're doing
It's a mess.
extensive coverage of the Puppet Master series, you have to watch it. Otherwise, stay far away.
so. That's that. Next movie, Retro Puppet Master.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So I have a story with this movie. I had seen it before, partly. Probably in like 2003 or so, I rented this. Me and a friend rented this because it was Halloween. We rented this and Bones, the Snoop Dogg horror movie.
Wow, what an awful Halloween.
Well, we started watching Retro Puppet Master because I remembered liking, 2 and whatever, and I had never seen any other ones
Sure.
at that point. We were bored out of our fucking minds, and while we were watching it, another friend came over with an issue of Perfect 10, which is, of course, the famous pornographic magazine for women who have not had surgery of any kind.
Natural women.
All natural women. We just started passing that around and left the movie on, and then after a while we turned the movie off. And then we didn't watch Bones because we were like so sad about movies. So
Don't blame you.
have either of you seen Bones? I never have.
No, I didn't even know
No.
it existed until you mentioned it just now.
Maybe you should go back to that. This
Same as on
movie's
Tubi.
This movie's a piece of fucking junk, but like it's a little more interesting than 6, I think, because it's all new stuff, at least.
I found this movie very entertaining, but it's not good.
I did not find it entertaining, and it's not good. It's
It probably helped
slightly
that when
more
we watched
interesting than
it-
Curse, so it's a little bit better, but it's still just it's a little bit better and worse as we keep saying
Yeah,
at the same time.
yeah.
It probably helped that I was like very high. I didn't expect a movie night to happen, and I was already very high, and I just kept going through the movies. But
The only good thing about this movie is it led to the creation of The Room. So
Right.
that's
is that
the
true? I
highest-
thought you were joking about that.
Oh no, I'm 100%. That's true.
Wait, really?
Cool.
Yeah, because Tommy Wiseau was so jealous that forget his name, the guy who plays Mark.
So they like knew each other?
Oh yeah, they were living together.
Oh.
And then he got this role, and he was so fucking jealous and mad that he decided, I'll make my own movie. and wrote it.
Oh, that's it. I thought you were making that up too.
Oh no, it is real.
The guy who plays Toulon in this is Mark from The Room.
Right.
Greg Sestero.
Read the
I'm surprised
Disaster
Sarah
Artist
after
book
hasn't
or
sent
see
me
the
chat
movie.
yet.
I don't
Greg
think they mention it in the
Sestero.
movie, but it's in the book.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's in the book?
They talk about Puppet Master in the book, but I don't think that made it to the movie.
Oh, like the book of the book
Disaster Artist?
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's a great book. They talk about like the Transformers, I think, too.
that's really funny. Horrible acting from Mark.
Oh, he's a horrible actor all the time.
Yeah. Is he American? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
he's
The
American.
Room. I don't really
He's
know the
American.
guy
Oh,
that.
you haven't seen The Room?
Yeah, I've only seen
I haven't seen it either.
long form reviews and clips and everything.
I've seen The Room many, many times.
Okay. So
If
this
Barrington's
movie,
in here. I've seen it with him like probably at least 5 times, the two of us.
there was a video zone on Retro Puppet Master. So there is a little bit of behind the scenes footage, and they said that they filmed this in, was it Romania or Poland? I don't remember.
Romania.
Romania. They filmed this in Romania in the winter. And
Over 15 days.
It was filmed in 15 days. And there's little interviews with the puppet designers and the puppet guys, and they are dripping with resentment. Like they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're
so
so
fucking
mad.
pissed off about
They
this
are
movie.
very mad. Something went wrong. They made this movie, but something else went
Yeah.
wrong.
Does the movie open with Toulon and then go to the Egypt flashback, or does it?
Yeah, it opens
Yeah.
with new footage of Toulon,
New
which
footage
is
of the
surprising.
new footage of the old Toulon from Puppet Master 3.
Right.
He's back, and he's like, "Oh, my puppets, we are here on the Swiss border." Ah, and then Cyclops' head falls out of the puppet chest, and he's like, "Cyclops, oh, I remember this guy. I'll tell you a story about this guy." And it flashes back to Egypt, but Egypt looks like a dungeon from the Conan TV show. And
It's true.
And the actors in the scene look like
the actors
TV
look like
show.
actors from the Conan TV show. This whole thing is very like Xena core. And it's just this very
that's a big
goofy.
reason. I think that's a big part of why I loved it.
Yeah. It's just this
I love
very
seeing that.
goofy scene of a sorcerer like stealing a secret from Sutek. We know Sutek. We remember Sutek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, from the comics.
Yeah, from the movie.
I know.
I would have said for Puppet Master 4 and 5, but all right.
Yeah. So Sutek, the guy escapes the sorcerer, and he's got the secret from Sutek, and Sutek wakes up 3 mummies who look fucking shitty. It's just like 3 dudes in mummy wrappings. He's like, "Go pursue this man and get my secret back." And
They look like mummies that they are dressed and makeup done like mummies from a fucking 30s black and white.
yes,
Yeah, very universal mummy.
they look
Very Karloff.
they look like mummies from an SNL skit. I don't know.
It just
So-
it seemed intentional.
I have maybe, I don't know. I have a question. Are those mummies the three Nazis from Raiders of the Lost Ark who?
They have to be. Otherwise, what would be the point of that scene, right?
Right. Because we never see the mummies again, but then for the rest of the movie, there's these 3 Raiders of the Lost Ark Nazis who are pursuing the sorcerer. Azazel?
They're
And,
yes,
and
Yeah.
they're
like,
all Australian.
these guys, they're different ethnicities, I guess. So probably all the actors in this movie are just locals to Romania, except for Mark.
Right.
And I guess maybe the lead lady.
And
But-
except for Afsel.
Right, and Afzal, yeah. They have this makeup which is very bad, but also fine
Yeah.
for the movie. Like, it's just so like slopped on there. It's just really stark purple lines on their face. I don't know. It's fine. It's interesting, I guess. But
I think it works for what it is.
Yeah. They pursue the wizard. And the wizard ends up at the Theatre Magique, which we see this sign about 50 times in the movie. They constantly reestablish the Theatre Magique every time. That's the thing about this movie. It's very padded, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like 80 minutes long, and even then it's like every single scene is like maximum slowdown, maximum waste time.
Every action scene is in slow motion for the entirety of the action scene.
Yeah. So we meet Toulon. We meet his assistants in the retro past.
This is in Paris.
It's in Paris. There's different retro puppets. I only got a couple screen caps, but they're putting on a play. It's not like Faust again, is it? Or is it just some bullshit?
No. It's just like the puppets
Some
are
made-up
like
thing.
talking and saying like philosophical shit at each other.
Yeah, I've got some sound clips here I will play.
Both of which come from Cyclops.
Cyclops. All the puppets are talking and they're kind of going in the round, saying different stuff about hell, but then Cyclops is kind of the MVP of this scene.
Everywhere is hell.
Just to be
for
clear,
we are
this
the
is like
damned.
before they're alive.
Yes.
And this is like
they're being
people
operated.
below. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play this again.
Everywhere is hell, for we are the damned. Free will is an illusion.
So, just, great.
Free will is an illusion.
Yeah. And the other puppets are like,
It's amazing.
where are we? We can only be in hell. And it's a very uplifting show. A pretty lady loves it. We find out she's, sneaking out of her rich dad's house. Her dad is like the ambassador from somewhere. Geneva, right?
Geneva, yep.
Very, very good that we have this story about artificial life where someone's from Geneva. Very convenient, but
Geneva.
Yeah. Afzel ends up. The minions beat the shit out of him, and then they leave, or no, they hire someone to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, they hire like street thugs to beat him up.
Yeah, and Toulon takes him in, and he's like, "Oh well, I guess this is who I have to teach the secret of life to. All right." And sort of conveniently, a beggar dies, and Toulon puts his soul into Pinhead, retro Pinhead, who has these. He has these weird like hook elbows. He's kind of cool looking.
I
kind of.
But
he's one of the few good ones here.
So there's this ongoing thing of, I don't know, Toulon. Toulon sucks in this movie, right?
Well,
the
would
entire
you please
he,
share the expert picture that I from the book that I just put in the chat, the image. I think it's very important.
Okay,
and very
so
hilarious.
Count has shared this image from the PDF of the disaster artist. Who is writing this? Is this Mark?
It's Greg Sestero.
It's
who
Greg
is Mark
Sestero.
and Toulon. He's playing it. I mean, I can read the whole thing out loud real quick if you don't mind.
Go
for
ahead.
Anyone who's not watching or whatever.
Yeah.
This is from the disaster artist, written by Greg Sestero, who plays Toulon and Mark in the room. I'd never seen any of the Puppet Master films, but I felt instantly attracted to Andre Toulon, their titular character. For one thing, Toulon was European, and I always felt as European as I did American. For another thing, Retro Puppet Master was a prequel that showed Toulon as a young Parisian puppeteer before he went mad with power and became the Puppet Master. Like any good Star Wars nerd, I thought, do it like you're doing Anakin Skywalker. An Anakin Skywalker who talks to puppets.
What?
I'll leave it at that.
What the fuck does that mean? This is before the prequel trilogy, right?
I think it's right around the same time.
This came out in 99, so
Okay.
right
would've
around the
been same
buzz of
time,
Phantom
yeah.
Menace.
So do it like the 10-year-old Anakin?
Yes.
What the fuck's he talking about?
Then I skip ahead here. Even less heartening, though, was the audition called for a British accent, which I couldn't do, but I could do a French accent. The character
Arguably.
actually was French, and I assumed they asked for a British accent because it was usually easier to find a young actor able to do one. A good French accent, I felt confident, would be my ace in the hole.
Not a good French accent.
No.
It is awful.
He sounds like a sleepy... I don't know. He's just... Oh, what are you doing over there? You want
It's like the most generic making fun of French people accent.
you want to teach
Yeah, but
me
then
magic?
he's also mumbling.
Okay.
He's mumbling the entire film. Every scene, he is so much quieter than everybody else, and they didn't think to do anything about it.
It's
It just everyone in the film other than Afzal and the girl are horrible. Like, just probably locals 80 yard later badly. Like, what's that line, Slushie? Did you write it down? One of the like,
I mean, I'm sure I did.
one of the puppet assistants has this scene.
Here it is. My skills were able to encompass this heroic enterprise.
Like he's hammered some
he's
shit
like
into a
fixing
door.
a door.
Or something.
I don't know.
Very odd. Oh, there's a new theme. The movie doesn't use the old Puppet Master theme. I remembered.
and Slushie thought, hey, it's going to be really smart, and they're going to slowly weave it into the movie.
Don't say Slushie thought. You said it. I was just mad that
That
it
was me.
the theme.
That was my.
Mortis. It was neither of us, Slushie.
Yeah,
it was Mortis.
I thought they were gonna like over the course. Well, I didn't think they were gonna, but I said over the course of the movie they're gonna weave in the old theme melody, and then by the end of the movie, the new theme will be the famous Puppet Master. No, it's just a shitty new theme.
Oh, a lot of establishing shots.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah,
I'm saying that again, just reestablishing that.
So the babe like immediately falls in love with Toulon about his existential puppet show. And
she loved it.
I said I was imagining a girl who is really into this movie as a costume period romance. Because they're just having this awkward like courtship, and she's like, "Oh, you are so great." Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's just really. It's bad. It's a bad movie. It's very slow. I have here in my notes, there's 3 blood cultists in 4. There's 3 mummies in the beginning of this, and then there's 3 Nazis now. 3 is a sacred number to Sutek.
It seems to be
he always
that way.
has 3 minions. Maybe an actual piece of like continuity. Maybe just a coincidence. I don't know.
I think Charles Band just likes 3 little dudes,
Yeah.
and then 3 big dudes.
We were talking about this on 6, but there's a lot of shots that are digitally zoomed and panned. Like, why not just zoom in more? Maybe they couldn't because it's so weird.
It looks less bad in Retro Puppet Master, but it's still not great.
I thought it looked worse in Retro Puppet Master.
Well,
I didn't
pan
notice
more
it as
in
much.
this.
I'll say it.
There will be a shot that's like really clearly digitally zoomed in, and then it will digitally pan over to a different puppet, and it like looks so shitty. Like it's really weird.
The only saving grace is that they have old puppets and they have to use them. They can't cut away to like.
There's no way to do stock footage. It would be really funny if it was like, "Oh, Pinhead, what are you doing over there?" and it just cut to like an old shot of normal Pinhead.
Normal Pinhead with gum on his head.
I don't know. Very little to say about this movie, I feel like.
Blade is very ugly. I have that as one of my 3 notes.
So Retro Blade looks like crap. He looks like the guy from AC/DC. I don't know.
It looks so bad.
Let me find it.
There's Cyclops, one of the brand new puppets. Cyclops looks okay, I guess, but he doesn't do anything.
He's a funnier puppet than we've had before.
Yeah, he all apart from the lines in the play, he doesn't do anything.
This really is the Phantom Menace of
Yeah.
Puppet Master franchise.
So I don't know. I guess should we just synopsize the film briefly?
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Like-
the only notes I've written down we already covered. This
Yeah.
is what I remember. Blade is ugly. Cyclops is hilarious, and then I have his two little lines. It's like
So these three minions are just like constantly pursuing.
they're on the hunt for the old wizard.
They're on the hunt for the old wizard, and at various times, the hunt is stymied because Afzel has had the puppets make like seals to block Sutek's vision.
Right.
So they're at various points, you know, the seals will get knocked down, and they go to the Theater Magique, the minions, and they kill Toulon's whole crew. They kill people by holding their hands up, and a wavy digital effect comes out of their
a
hands.
little bit of wobbly air.
Little wobbly
Now die.
air, and they say "now die," and they die slower sometimes than others. But Toulon gets away from this because he has been taken away by his love's evil father, so he wasn't there, and his love's evil father doesn't do anything to him. Like he makes him stay all night. And he's like, you stay away from my daughter. Now leave.
Yeah,
I have
like,
to go to
this-
sleep.
Let this be a lesson well learned. And
Yeah,
it's just like him exerting, like him showing he has the power to disappear someone, I guess.
yeah. So all the assistants and Afzel are killed by Afzel is not killed by these guys. There's this recurring thing where the minions are like, "You will die," and Afzel's like, "Yes, I will die, but not today." And then
And then he just doesn't.
then later
Turns out, yes.
they're like, "You will die. Yes, I will die, but not by Sutek's hand." And he shoots himself with the wavy beam that he can also do, and he dies, and the minions are like, "What the fuck?" All right, I guess we'll leave.
Right, and then the minions were gonna leave, and then fucking Mark is like, "I'll start doing magic again," and then they sniff him out.
Yeah, they're
If he
on the
didn't
way
do
out of
anything,
town.
They'd be gone.
Yeah. He says, I have nothing to live for, but if I will at least live for vengeance. So he makes the puppets out of all his friends, and he puts Afzel into 6-shooter. And so then the minions detect that he does the magic, and they go back after him, and there's a funny scene where Blade is like tattooing the protection sigil on Mark's arm.
I think
Toulon's
it's
arm.
technically like scarification, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not. He's not putting
Which-
ink in it, I guess.
It's not like Toulon ever had that or showed his arms in other movies.
Right.
I mean, you don't see his arms. It could be there.
That's what I mean. You didn't see
Yeah.
them, so it's
Yeah.
not really like a setup or a payoff, or it's just all right. It's whatever.
yeah.
The whole movie's whatever.
Yeah, just anytime the minions are shooting their beam, it's like in slow motion, and it takes so long, and the scene is like plotting and nothing's happening. Just yeah. They end up on a train because why do they end up on a train? He's escaping, but also or is he pursuing them on the train?
So, okay, so they detect that there is magic happening. They reason out that it's Toulon, Afzel's assistant. And like their whole thing is they're trying to get the secret of life
Yeah.
out of anybody's hands so that only Sutek has it.
Yeah.
They don't know where he is though. So the lead mummy Nazi zombie puts out a wavelength so that everyone in town has a dream of them of them like going through a curtain, and the 3 mummy zombies are there with Toulon's girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
So
they
that-
I don't
kidnap
remember
her.
that at all.
I
Holy
don't remember
shit.
that either.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think I
it
was like
happens.
going to the bathroom or something.
So like Toulon has his ticket for the train and like fell asleep at the train station waiting for the train to come.
Right. Well,
And
this
he
is
has
after
that dream.
they have a brief little battle at the puppet show place, right? Before this,
Yes.
where they like the
yeah.
puppets.
Yeah, and then the puppets help, and Dr. Death stabs one guy's leg a
Oh
bunch.
yeah,
and
there's also
Sam comes
Dr.
out.
Death. We are introduced to Dr. Death. I didn't get a picture of him. But
We'll
he's,
cover him when he has his own
Here,
spin-off,
Bruce.
whatever.
he has his own spin-off, Dr. Death on Tubi.
This link has it links to pictures of all the puppets.
He's the other new puppet besides Cyclops. Thank you,
Well,
Slushie.
Technically, Drill Sergeant isn't Tunneler.
Right, yeah, for some
Nobody's
reason,
referred to as Tunneler in the behind the scenes and in all merchandise.
that's true. They call him Retro Tunneler on the merchandise, but they call him Drill Sergeant in the
is
movie.
Drill Sergeant.
Yeah. And Dr. Death, of course, has his own spin-off, also, on Tubi, Puppet Master Dr. Death. He will return. He'll be back.
He takes a 20-year break.
He takes it. So there's a little battle. They kill one of the minions. So then there's only 2 minions. Or do they make a new minion? I don't remember.
I think there's only 2 in the
I think
end.
it's just the 2.
And then the whole thing Slushie just made up out of whole cloth happens.
It's real.
I don't think
He
it
has
happened.
the dream
I don't
at
think it
the-
happened.
He has the dream at the train station,
Think
and
you
he
were just
runs to the
really
ticket
high.
counter, and he's like, "What's the next train going anywhere?" And he gets a ticket for that, and he gets on that train, and then he walks to the back of the train, and the mummies are there.
Yeah. Well, there's an
On this
there's
one,
an insanely
it's
like
so
plotting scene where he gets up and he's got the puppets following him on the train, and he keeps going up to like different guys who are dressed like the minions, and they're like, "What? What do you want? What?" He finally finds the Sutek minions, and they have another fight, and Dr. Death latches onto their leg and stabs them, and then it's nothing else. They die and lose, and the movie's over. It's bad and boring and sucks.
It's really bad.
We're
We're through the looking glass, is what Morris kept saying.
yeah, like, is it all downhill from here? Are we?
I think so.
Have we started a slide? I don't know. We'll see.
I need to own up to it.
Yeah,
Retro Puppet Master is Puppet Master 7.
yeah.
I said that my prediction was that 7 would be a hidden gem. It wasn't.
Well, thank you, Slushie,
Maybe,
for being honest about it.
yeah, maybe in the future there will be a hidden gem, but I guess I'm not holding my breath anymore.
I think it's Puppet Master 14 or 13. The Littlest Reich is not that bad.
We'll see.
and Puppet Master 16 is coming out sometime. The Furnace Leech Woman.
Furnace Leech Woman. What
Which I'm
happened to
hoping
her
is
after
good.
she got out of that furnace?
Yeah.
One note from Video Zone is we need to watch Blood Dolls,
Right.
which
Oh,
is another Charles Band full moon movie about little puppets who kill people. But like,
One is like a really racist pimp. The other one is just a cool looking dude.
like a weird demon genie
Yeah.
kind of guy. I don't know. It's like a new set of puppets, and it's some kind of weird like urban mafioso kind of like setting. Like there's crime happening, and the Blood Dolls are doing murders about the crime. I don't know. The puppets look cool.
Trailer looks
They
good.
do.
It looked a lot better than these 2 movies. There's a trailer on the Video Zone, so maybe we'll see that next. I don't know.
Well,
what is the next Puppet Master?
I
Is
think
it
it's Verse Demonic Toys.
like chronologically?
Yeah, let me check real quick.
Well, according to the fandom wiki, chronologically, the next one is Puppet Master 6. Curse of the Puppet Master. So who
No,
knows?
after Retro. What?
Well, yeah,
Morris is
chronologically.
talking about-
Oh, you
Alright,
mean
I know,
in
so
the
it's about
you're talking
chronology
about
as far as,
the timeline of
within the continuity. I
Right.
think Morris was asking as far as
What is the
Puppet
next
Master
movie
The
we're
Legacy.
Legacy?
The Legacy.
Okay.
Oh, the majority. This is a clip movie.
Oh God.
It says right here, the majority of the film consists of
no!
flashbacks using footage recycled from the previous 7 films.
That's what Curse was.
No.
Only the intro to Curse,
How
mostly.
How bad can it be if Curse doesn't openly admit that it's a clip show? This one is. So how? Can you imagine?
Here's some good news. 73 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah.
And they go back to the Bodega Bay Inn. Okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No, it's gonna be bad. We can't talk about that.
It was directed by Charles Band. It'll be fine.
Well, of course. I mean, how hard is it to direct a fucking clip show
We're gonna have to
of
watch
films
The
that you
Legacy,
own?
Demonic Toys, and probably verse Demonic Toys to like get an episode.
Yeah.
We can't talk
Uh-oh.
about The Legacy, a clip show for an hour.
For some reason, the subscription alert came on, even though I don't have that on this scene.
Cool.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next time.
It's like the fucking later Phantasm movie that's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, both 4 and 5 are like pretty much clip show, right?
Yeah.
I've seen 4, but
I've seen 5. I've seen them all.
Have I seen 3, Mortis? You would know.
no, you haven't yet.
Okay.
3's still fine. It's no 2.
3's fine. It's watchable.
I mean, what is?
Yeah.
2 is awesome.
2 is the only one I like. 1 has cool music, but we're not talking about Phantasm here.
We could be. Why not? We're just talking about retro Puppet
Because we're
Master.
talking about Curse of the Puppet Master and Retro Puppet Master.
I think we've said everything.
Do you have an MVP for this, Slushy?
Oh, good call.
None of the puppets do anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
there's 2 scenes where like 2 puppets are on a person. The first one is in the puppet show warehouse or workshop where Blade is like cutting up a zombie Nazi's face and Dr. Death is stabbing him in the shin and sand is coming out. And then later is like at the end when they're fighting in the train car and it's the same shots of Blade on a zombie Nazi's face and Dr. Death stabbing him in the leg. The puppets don't do anything in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
so
Don't watch it.
I would say the MVP is Cyclops. I'm gonna play the clips
just because
again.
of his
For
sardonic
the voice
wit.
lines, yeah.
Everywhere is hell, for we are the damned. Free will is an illusion.
And he probably isn't coming back again, so he gets his little
Yeah.
award.
Like Cyclops starts the framing device, and he has the best lines in the movie.
I wish he still talked.
He
as
looks like a
puppet.
little thumb, you know.
He does
Yeah.
look like a
Looks like a little big toe. But he doesn't do. Yeah, he's like. I guess he's supposed to be the new Jester, but he, it looks like he might be capable of biting.
does nothing.
But he does nothing. He does nothing at all. Bad film, boring film. It's sort of interesting how boring it is and how shitty it is. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Slushy, would you recommend Retro Puppet Master?
Unlike the other movies where I've mentioned this scenario, I think Retro Puppet Master would be fun to get drunk with some friends and laugh about. Because there are things in it that are enjoyable. There are things in it that are very corny and interesting. There are things in it that are really bad that you can have fun laughing about. So sure, if you're into cheesy horror movies and you've already watched all the other ones, you really want to have a laugh with your friends while getting drunk or high. It's all right. It's all right for that. It serves that purpose. Outside of that scenario, I would not recommend. No.
I think I'd rather look at that issue of Perfect 10.
Yeah, that was our experience.
That's my
certainly.
recommendation.
Yeah, so like the October 2003 issue or so, look it up rather than this movie.
Yeah, just look at that.
Well, any kind of a shorter episode than usual. That's fine.
Well.
Any closing thoughts?
It's a shorter episode, but we talked about 5 movies.
That's true.
Talk a lot of movies. Well, the problem is, well, not so much a problem, is I do take notes for these Puppet Masters, but I'm not taking them for these other movies.
Right.
So.
Well, we already talked about Versus and
Right,
Riki
right.
in
And
the
we
top
did
10.
cover it on the top 10. I'm just trying to catch up on the ones I haven't seen on their top 10s, which for all Mortises I've seen now, Slushies, I still have a few to go.
Those animes, which are not
Yeah,
gonna,
those
they're not going to
animes.
stand up to Full Metal Alchemist. But what is?
I just, look, Full Metal Alchemist is a masterpiece. Just,
A masterpiece that Count hated.
I never finished it. I would watch it a little bit on Adult Swim. I didn't really like it.
Apparently the first series was running concurrent to the manga, and like with Dragon Ball they got too far ahead, except instead of just adding filler, they just changed the story.
It's probably not the problem for me, but probably it's for other people.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't see the sexual Japanese woman puppet in the
Oh yeah,
I
the
don't think she
trailer.
showed up in the trailer.
This looks good. I don't
Maybe
know.
we'll cover Blood Dolls, Demonic Toys, versus Demonic. I don't know. It depends on
We'll see.
how
We'll
much
see
we
what
can
we
watch in a week or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just not looking forward to the clip show.
Well, until next time, I guess.
Thank you
will.
all for listening.
What if we watch Puppet Master Legacy at 2x speed?
Can you do that on Tubi? Does Tubi have that?
I don't know.
I think
We can find a way.
I think that even the cynical thing that Puppet Master Legacy sounds like it is, doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. I don't know.
Right, we should watch it at 3 times speed.
I wonder if we skipped all of the flashbacks, how long the movie would be. That's what I wonder.
Probably like 4 minutes.
We'll have to. We'll have to figure that out for the
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
where we talk about it. I'll do it if nobody else wants to.
Just I can download a copy and I'll cut out all the flashbacks and I'll make a new MP4 of just new footage. I'm not actually going to do this, but it'll be fun.
right. Could be done easily enough.
I'll do it.
Slushie, please don't.
We're here to respect Charles Band's brilliant fucking legacy of these puppets that we love so much.
Yeah,
I think
we do love that.
I think
They
we
just
owe
made
it to
some bad
him.
movies.
Yeah. I don't know.
The thing I'm really taking away from us doing this podcast about all these Puppet Master movies is I've really got to read the comics.
They're
Because
good.
the comics seem like they're really good.
They're good.
They're pretty good. Starts out kind of generic and doesn't,
I have a feeling Versus Demonic Toys might be a little bit better than Curse, Retro, and Legacy. That's my prediction. We'll see if I'm wrong or right, folks.
Yeah.
It was a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. I recall reading. So
That is true.
those are always good.
I just know after that it's like
That's
straight
actually
up just
very
Nazi
exciting.
shit for like 4 movies.
Well, stay tuned. You'll see what we watch, and we'll talk about it, and we'll do our best.
Yeah.
We must be in hell
Oh.
because we can be no other place.
We are the damned.
We are the damned.
Oh no.
What's up, Slushie?
After Demonic Toys and until Dr. Death, I think it is all Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Axis of Evil, Axis Rising, Axis Termination, The Littlest Reich, Blade the Iron Cross.
I know. I believe the Axis trilogy. The puppets are still good guys, quote unquote. Like, I think they're still fighting Nazis rather than they are Nazis, as I think they are in The Littlest Reich.
The Littlest Reich is not. It is in contemporary times.
Right. But they are still Nazi puppets.
But they are Nazi puppets.
Yeah.
But it is probably. I watched that one. I enjoyed it. There's like a frog puppet. We'll get to it.
I've seen that frog puppet. He's cool. Yeah, I don't know. We got...
Join us next time where we enter the next century of the new millennium of puppets.
The new millennium. A long way to go before we sleep. How does it go? That famous poem. But yeah, until then, free will is an illusion. See you later, folks.
Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.